member of the Guild of Bookworkers. Today I'm going to show you how to make a book out of a single sheet of paper. I got the instructions from this book called The Art of the Fold by Hetty Kyle. So let's get started. So we're going to take from the top of the sheet and we're going to fold it down to the bottom, but we're not going to crease it. We just kind of want to match up our corners. And then we're just going to sort of pinch down here on the corner and come over onto the other side and pinch down on the corner. And we're doing that so we know where we'll have an impression. You could make a little pencil mark if your paper's dark, that might be helpful. But then we're going to fold from our bottom edge up to that little crease that we just put. And that's what that mark is for. We're not going to need it for anything else. And this time we're going to fold all the way across the bottom. Take our bone folder or popsicle stick, give it a nice hard crease. I like to spin my paper around, and then I'll fold up again, up to that crease in the middle. And then we'll fold again. Okay, then we open it back up, kind of make it flat again. And this time we're going to take it on our short edge and fold it across. And again, we're going to make our corners to corners. And then this time we are going to fold it all the way. That, or you could use the back of your scissors if you want to do something like that, a popsicle stick, or just your fingers. Just make sure it's a nice hard crease because we're going to want to keep that one. Now we're going to spin it around again. Got our big middle crease. This guy doesn't want to lay flat. And then we're going to take our far edge, fold it into the middle, into that crease. Spin it around and do the same thing with the other side. We're going to fold into that middle crease and that hard crease that we made. So now you have something that looks just long and skinny, and it has this opening part. And you can already see that you kind of got a book starting out there. We have our long, thin book, and we have those creases that we first put in. You can see them on both sides still. Those creases are going to get folded. Just kind of pinch them nice and hard so we don't lose them as we keep opening and closing the book. Pinch them on both sides, get a good crease. They are going to get folded to the inside. And they're going to be our pages. So there you can see that we're going to have a small, tiny book. Now we're going to need to crease this back edge. So on the spine side, not on the opening side, we're going to set up our ruler about 1/2 inch or so from the edge. Just whatever looks good for your book. You just need to have enough because this will stay sort of rigid, and then the rest of it will be where it opens. So you can make it a little bit tinier or a little bit bigger, however you like it. And this is where we need the ruler, just not really to measure, but just to give us something hard to press up against. Like I said, you can use the edge of a book or just anything hard that you have. So you really want to press up against this to make sure that it bends. And then you can take your ruler away, and you can really fold it hard And then you're going to have to take it in the other direction and fold it back the way it came just a minute ago. And it takes a little bit of pressure because you've got all those folds there on the inside, and you're trying to fold everybody so everybody gets that good crease. You do that back and forth a few times. And there you have that. So now I'm going to open it back up so that's that really long one. And you're going to cut along these creases on either side. But you only want to cut as far as our spine crease. You don't want to cut all the way to the very edge. Let me show you. And you can cut through the whole thing, or just one at a time. One at a time is a little bit easier. I'll move down to the one on the other side, and you just want to cut right along that crease that we made right to that point so that you don't cut all the way to that very edge. Spin it around, cut the other two sides. Like I said, you can cut through all of it all at once, but sometimes that's a little hard for your scissors. Okay, now we're going to fold these guys back in, and they fold in a lot more easily now because it's not as bulky and hard with that extra fold there. So there you have what's going to be your book. And so the very last step is to get your needle and thread, and you're going to sew through. And you're going to have to make holes in your book, 3 holes. Stick your pages in as far back as you can. You're going to put a hole right in the middle, or just about. And I'm just going to go back and forth and make the holes for you first. That makes it a little easier when you're trying to sew. And then I'm going to put this one close to the bottom, but not too close because you don't want it to tear as you use your book. And then one up at the top. You need a good sturdy needle to do this with. One thing that you could use is a hole punch, but that's going to leave a really big hole. So that one you might want to use yarn with if you're going to make this kind of a book with yarn. Another thing you can do is to use a stapler. And if you're going to use a stapler, you'll need to put a staple in the middle and then one on either side. So you'll need 3 staples if you have a stapler. I don't have a stapler, but I have lots of needle and thread. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to start, and you can start on the front side and have your knot on the front, or you can start from the back and have your knot end up on the back. It doesn't make any difference. It's completely up to you. I'm going to start on the front. I'm going to pull, you go from the front to the back, and you want to hold a little tail because you don't want to pull that through because you're going to have to make a knot. And then I'm going to go from the back, and I went down to the bottom, but you can go up to the top. That doesn't make a difference. And I'm going to pull my thread through, back out to the front side of the book, and then I'm going to go all the way up to the top hole, and go to the back, and then I'm take my needle for the last bit and go from the back out through that center hole again. I usually have a thread on either side of my long thread in the middle. So I have one on this side and one on that side. I just think it lets the knot hold the string better, but it doesn't have to be that way. And you just tie a regular knot right over left and left over right. And you're done. And you can trim, or you could leave them long if you wanted to. So there is your completed book. And there's one more thing that you can do. So when you have your book and you open it up, you're going to have 2 pages at the bottom and 2 pages at the top. And then you have your back cover. If you want to have more pages, you can cut these, because right now you can see that, that they're open. They're connected to each other. So you can make more sides. And to do that, you just cut that. I'll do the two at the top so you see. So now you'd have 2 at the bottom, and then you'd have 4 pages up at the top. And then you could cut those, and you'd go from having 6 pages to 8 pages. So it's however, at this point, however you want to do these inside pages is up to you. I'll show you a couple of other ones I've done. This is one that I've done in this dark green paper. And on this one, I kind of cut the edges and angled them. So those are cut apart. And then I have some of those crazy scissors that make waves and things like that. And so you can see on this one, I've used the waves. And so that gives a little bit of decoration. My scissors aren't the greatest and they kind of chewed up the edge of it, but that's the idea. So you can do something like that to open your pages up too. But that's how you make this one little book. It's called The Winter Fold, and it was created by Hetty Kyle. And the name of her book again is called The Art of the Fold. I hope you enjoyed it and make a lot of books. Thanks, guys.